So I'm going to kind of start from the inspiration for this live and why I'm doing it. And as always, when I teach or channel or do anything, I always ask that I am speaking directly to an aspect of me that needs it as well. So sometimes I'm speaking to my past self, sometimes I'm speaking to my present self, and sometimes I'm speaking to my future self. And I know that first and foremost to include myself in the equation, anything that I give myself to also needs to be for me. And that's a lot of how I started doing this work in the first place. I did it for me. I wanted to see if there were other people who thought like me or felt like me or had similar experiences to me. And throughout the last however many years that I've been doing this, over 10 years now, I feel like I have learned so much about this space, particularly this space for entrepreneurs who are also empaths or highly sensitive people. And I've seen a lot because I've worked one-on-one with a lot of entrepreneurs. And you guys have heard me say it a million times, but tend to work with people who are artists, writers, entrepreneurs in general, which I consider all that all the same, really. Um, Tarot readers, mystics, people who do life coaching, things like that. And I have learned a lot about the psyche of an empath when it comes to money and when it comes to the physical world. And obviously, everything exists. So I often attract people who obviously have similar experiences to me because that's where my codes are. So it makes sense. And one thing that I have throughout the years understood, I think at I'm understanding at a deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper level, but it just feels so relevant today and relevant to what's going on in the world. And that is that it's going to sound so simple and it's going to sound like my broken record, but that if we do not fully include ourselves into the equation, and what I mean by ourselves is our whole self, our entire trinity, our body, mind, and heart, our past and our future, including the present moment, and others and the planet, which are all aspects of what we are. If we don't include our whole trinity, we end up sacrificing. And often for many of us, we sacrifice different things. And we historically usually sacrifice very similar things just based on the programming we received. So we may have been programmed to believe that pleasure is wrong or that having money, like having a lot of money, is wrong. This is a big one. I'm going to be talking specifically about money a lot today, and it may trigger you because I'm going to challenge a lot of the beliefs that are going around globally right now. Because remember, the entire lack matrix is based on this idea that there's not enough. So there is a tremendous amount of fear around having astronomical abundance. And the thing is, we actually already do have access. I'm sorry about my throat, you guys. We do have access to astronomical abundance, and it is essential that we think of it as astronomical. And I know that is it can be difficult when we have been so programmed with this idea that there's not enough and people hoard and they don't share, and the people that are the richest are ruining the world and all of these sorts of things. And that all may there's truth to everything, so there's truth to all these sorts of things, but we have to remember the reason why that system is so fundamentally broken is because it is based on sacrifice, and specifically always having to sacrifice something essential. Now, I want to clarify this because always when we're going towards something, we do sacrifice in small ways, maybe time here to put time here because we have 24 hours in a day and we have to choose what we prioritize. That is not the type of thing I'm sacrificing. I'm talking about when I'm talking about sacrificing. I'm talking about when human beings sacrifice something essential to who they are, meaning either sacrificing their mental health, their physical health, or their emotional health, or sacrificing their past or their future. Usually we sacrifice the future because we can't get over what happened in the past, and we don't know how to make amends to the past, and we believe we have to that we have to pay for the past, and that we have to, or that we have to be punished for the past, or we have to learn some sort of lesson from the past. This is a huge block to global communion, and it's why there's such this emphasis on who's at fault. Who's at fault for the system that humanity's in? And how broken it is and why. And I've said this in the last video that I posted. I think on my public channel, I posted an excerpt from my Ace of Pentacles series, which is in my YouTube membership. But I talked a lot about how we can't look back. We have to let the system fall. It's based on lack. It's fundamentally unstable. It's going to fall inevitably. But if we focus all of our attention on trying to either save it or trying to make it fall, because we can get so inspired by the energy of revenge, and also just like we know that the system is so flawed. And so we can focus our attention on let's make it fall, let's make it fall, let's make it fall. Well intentioned and has a place. However, if our focus is there, we crumble with it because we don't even know who we are outside of it. And our entire identity becomes making that system fall, which is why I brought up the analogy of turning to salt. If you look back, when something's getting destroyed, don't look back. Let the dead bury the dead. This is so essential. And I feel like Spirit is saying unplug entirely so far that it seems uncomfortable to everybody around you how far you're unplugging from the matrix, specifically from feeling like it's your responsibility to solve it or fix it or change it or make it fall. Letting all of that go, because the actual, especially who I'm talking to, especially you empath, you highly sensitive people, you that came in with a deeper awareness of your human technology and why it's so essential. This awareness of I'm connected to everybody. I feel everything. So it actually doesn't feel good to you when anyone's hurt, whether it's your enemy or not. It doesn't feel good to feel humanity at war with itself. It doesn't feel good. And that's why empaths implode on themselves. It's why we get autoimmune disorders. It's why we struggle a lot in social situations, because we don't know what to do with all that energy. We haven't learned how to transmute it. And so we hold it in our bodies and it starts breaking us down. And then we've been programmed with this idea that humans are bad and wrong and need to be punished. So it's like, okay, well, I'll take the punishment for all of humanity then, because I don't want anybody else to feel this. And we were trained, or we historically anyway, this is changing so much, but we historically have been trained not to process our emotions, not to even show emotions, not to be weak, or only certain emotions are okay when all of the emotions are data. So that's all review, and we know this. And the reason I bring this up is because, as you know, the world right now is calling us to war. It's calling us to war. And you can think of it as a call to arms, and we're all getting the call. Now, but the response to it is what matters, and specifically how we use our central nervous system, because we can easily be hijacked by the war, and especially the division and the whole whose fault is it and how do we fix it, which is understandable because the system, it is getting repaired and there are things happening in there. But the most of all of the progress that we've made, and actually how far we've come in our technology, even, I mean, with sound technology, people are just starting to wake up to how screwed up the whole medical by profit system is and why it's impeding healing and actual wellness for people. Like, we're going to see so much change in the next few years because so many people are awake now. So many people, and even awake from the awakeness, like, because there's a culture of let's wake up, but in that there's this like glass ceiling, there has been, of the still hooked in, rooted in the belief that there's not enough. So even though we, in that reality, we woke up to this is all bullshit and also this is hurting us and it needs to shift, we still didn't have the transmutation into, oh, there's an entire different reality we can live from. That reality has to dissolve, and it will. And we don't have to, especially you as an empath, you that's in connection with your human tech, you do not need to worry about that. What is more important than anything else is your resonance, because your resonance affects reality. It affects the reality that you're fueling. It influences people around you. There's such a subconscious, this psychic game going on all the time that people don't even realize how good we are at psychic manipulation. In the lack matrix, we've learned how to manipulate. So even people who have heightened psychic abilities often still just are in this manipulation game, which is why there's psychic warfare and so many different techniques. And All of it has a place. But once we are sovereign from that, that we're not getting our power, we're not getting fed from the idea that there's not enough and therefore we have to sacrifice. So we're playing that entire game. It becomes obsolete. And this is another thing I keep talking about. In a sense, it's like Spirit told me this one day. It's like having diplomatic immunity. You're no longer a part of, even though you're in the world, you're not of the world. You're not of that system. You're not of the system of lack. You are rooted. You have literally taken your soil, your roots out of that soil and been planted into a new soil. So we are changing from the inside out. It's an alchemical process and it changes what we believe first and foremost, and then what we act on. But remember, we've been programmed to act on the stimuli of fear, guilt, and shame, and manipulation, and war, and sacrifice. And so, what we've been trained to do in times of fear is what we're not meant to do when we've been planted in abundance. Because when we're in fear and in the lack matrix, we close off, we protect ourselves, we kind of have less intimacy with people usually because we don't know who to trust or what's right and what's wrong, who's right and who's wrong. And especially now with this global emphasis on this or that, which is bullshit. It's total bullshit. It is not this or that. It's this and that and an infinite amount of other things. And until we can consider that there's options outside of this and that, we will continue to fuel that war paradigm. It is not this and that. This and that takes out the Trinity. So when we're doing this and that, we're sacrificing something essential of what we are. What is it for you that you typically sacrifice when you're in this or that? And I can speak very generally with myself and so many empaths that I've worked with. It's usually ourselves that we take out of the equation. And we live by this altruistic idea that we have to sacrifice ourselves, our happiness, our wellness, our abundance, all of it, even our connection to nature and our intimacy, because it's so deep and that's where the wealth is. That's where the wealth is. The wealth is in nature, in our connection to nature. And that's where wellness comes from. That's where vitality comes from, and the source that created it, obviously, the source that fuels it. But nonetheless, like, that is our most primal place to be, is with nature, and that has been eroded. That's been eroded for people. The more tech that comes on, all of it. Now, I want to bring this all the way to entrepreneurs, because, and this is something that I've talked about a lot, but it's so important for this full moon too. We have to embrace technology. You're embracing it right now. If you're here and you're using the internet, you've already embraced it. And you may have a conflict about that. And we do not have to make technology wrong. In fact, I truly believe, and I know this is controversial, especially to all the fears going on right now, but I believe that AI is actually going to be a part of what liberates us, depending on how we use it. And if we go to war with it, it might lock us down more. So I really think that we are at a time unlike any other time in recorded history. This has happened on the planet before. It's just not recorded. Imagine a war. Imagine something happening in the electromagnetic field of the planet that knocks the internet out and wipes our memory from how to use it. Think about all the data, all the videos, all the information that would just be gone. That has already happened. It's already happened before. So this is not something new, but what we actually have within us is the record of it all, which is why people are having memories come up about other timelines, about Atlantis, about Lemuria, about our ancient tech and our ancient history that has been wiped out, that we don't have any record of. I do believe a lot of these records that we had then, this is how I see it, how it's come to me. But the technology then, it wasn't the same as the technology we have now. It was different. And we did understand how to use our tech, our human tech, more. And we knew how to use crystals and nature also, to how to tap into the way that nature naturally stores history, that nature actually has the entire Akashic record of all history on planet Earth. We just don't know how to read it or how to understand it. That's changing. So this gets me all the way back to entrepreneurs. That's such a a word that I almost don't like because it has so many associations with it, but I'm going to use it because it's connected to the fact that we are meant to bring in money. Right now, money, as evil as everybody thinks that it is, as much as we may have all these ideas about getting out of the system of money, we are not in that place right now. We are in a system that, in order to have influence and power and make a true change, you need money. And it's essential, because if our essential needs aren't met, especially as the matrix plays that game, which it fluctuates it all the time, so it can decide who's powerful and who's not. So we're learning to transmute that all together. And what I keep hearing so clearly is that the more we understand how to use our tech, as weird as it is, and I'm saying our tech as empaths, our tech as humans, our tech as the psychic energy, the connection we have with each other, the records we have within us. It's why there's so many people that, again, are waking up and are feeling their calling, but the world, the lack matrix, doesn't really have a place for that. So you may not like, I just keep seeing this energy of, we keep trying to place it here, like offer ourselves over here in the lack matrix, when actually we're supposed to firmly root into the abundance matrix and radiate and resonate out. It doesn't matter. Like, it's already set up for us in the abundance matrix. And as we attach to it more, this is why in the Ace of Pentacles, I've been talking about principalities and what principalities govern the matrix we live in. And the principalities are actual entities that we create through our belief and our sacrifice to beliefs, certain belief systems. So the more we focus on it, the more we give to it, the more we co-create it, the more powerful those principalities become. And we have been subject to the principalities of lack for a long time, but we're waking up again, and we're no longer subject to them, because we understand that that is one reality, and they are powerful. It is a powerful reality, but it's not the only one. And our will, our human will, with that will, we can choose to not be a part of that matrix. We don't have to have it granted by government. We don't have to get permission from anybody. It's so internal. It's a completely internal decision. And it's that small space within us, that place we connected with at the beginning of this live. That is where we can reset everything from the inside out, not from the outside in. And then the resonance that we build, that strong signal that we allow to get stronger and stronger and stronger, begins to shift the timelines that we've been matched to. Everyone that and everything that we've had an association with in the lack matrix, when our resonance changes, that changes the entire equation of the lack matrix. That's how it falls. That's how it changes and falls. It's not direct. It is direct for some people who have those callings to do that, but they will fall with it, and that was their only calling. I see them almost as like soulless, maybe the AI, like that there are some people who just, that they just logically understand, this is what I'm supposed to do, this is it, and their entire focus is making it fall or whatever. I don't see that as an eternal soul. I just don't. I don't see it as when that's taken over. And sometimes even maybe people's soul has exited the body, and there's walk-ins that come in just to like finish the work. Of taking out a matrix or a system. You can think of it like a virus. So that it'll do its own thing, but we actually are eternal, which is, again, this is how we overcome the lack matrix. We are not subject to it because we are eternal. So we're only subject to it when we believe that's all there is and that's all we are, and we have to sacrifice to the lack matrix and earn and prove our worth to then have what we think we need, but it's not eternal anyway. None of that is. So I feel like there's this really powerful, I'm seeing the Empress card. It just popped in my head, the Empress card in the tarot deck. This incredibly powerful um royal energy, royal in terms of eternal sovereignty, and the eternal story, the eternal us, and each of us individually, that soul, if we have a soul, that soul carries the Akashic record of our unique expression of God and that particular journey, which spirit urged into being. So it's sacred. And that is where all the power is, all the wealth, all the prosperity. And yes, money, literal money, when we break through. And I see us, in that space of the heart, moving it out to where it shatters eventually the shackles of the lack matrix that have held down our auric field, our electromagnetic field. I truly see this as a technology that's come on the planet that's taken over the ley lines, that actually has, it's like a mind virus. Think of like a mass hypnosis on the planet of there's not enough, you're not enough, you have to sacrifice, war is inevitable, blah, blah, blah. War is the only way to get free. Such a lie. And it's a lie that feeds itself, which is why it's perpetual. And it's why it feels like eternal hell. There will be people who live that eternally. They come in over and over and over and over and over to play out the war. And I think eventually, hopefully, the hope is that eventually the soul wakes up and doesn't have to continue the war anymore. And we are living in a time where many, many, many people are choosing opting out. And I keep saying this, but it is a time to be optimistic. I think be smart, understand that there's so much at play here that nobody understands, and money's going to fluctuate, like the economy, the lack. However, new currency is coming online, new ways of trade, because humans always find a way. And as they always say, necessity is the mother of invention. So because it's a necessity, people will find a way to overcome this. And it's a greater time than I think if we were just to pay attention to the news or social media or everybody's doomsday bullshit. We would think this is like the worst time to be alive and there's all these horrible things happening on the planet. They've always been going on. There's not been a time in history where the bullshit that everybody's pissed about now hasn't been going on in some way, shape, or form. So again, let the dead bury the dead. It's none of our business what the lack matrix and its creators, how it decides to implode and what it does to itself. I just see that as none of my business, but my business is building and strengthening my resonance, my own resonance from the inside out. So key here that we begin, and this is what we're talking about in the Ace of Pentacles series, which I have a few announcements at the end of this, by the way, anyone who's in it, and also anyone who's curious about it and some of the stuff I have going on in my membership. But nonetheless, we've been focusing a lot on how the body, the physical vessel, is the pentacle. This is our first inheritance. And we can either swindle and squander that inheritance, or we can invest it in the future. And part of investing that inheritance is investing in the technology of the body. And people have used this analogy a lot. It's like if you have a car and you take really good care of your car, and you always get the oil changed when it needs to get changed. You keep it clean, you keep it updated, you just treat your car really well. Your car will last you a long time. The same with the body. And I believe personally that it's not just last long in this life, that we truly can, if we choose to. And I know this, for some people, this might seem way out there, but again, being in the abundance matrix opens you up to every possibility. And the fact that there's been people already on the planet who have tapped into this. And that is, I truly do not believe our body even needs to die. And science even suggests this, that it's simply just a program in the body, and that we have way more will than we even understand here. We have way more choice. We have way more, and that some people may not be called to that in this life at all, but I truly believe there are people on the planet right now that already have overcome it, and other ones that are waking up to it in mass numbers and choosing to stay in keep their body healthy as long as they want, and then consciously choose to leave it or ascend with it. But that's a whole other thing. However, it is attached and connected to the pentacle energy and abundance. And the main thing I keep wanting to get through, the spirit keeps trying to get through to me, is that the body is the pentacle, the slowest moving, but the most long lasting and the most stable and prosperous if we don't waste it and squander it. Even like the parable of the talents, where the one who was afraid to lose it just buried it. He didn't do anything with it. And when his master came back, he said, at least you could have done is given to the bank and earned interest, and then you would have done something with it. But now, like, you don't have anything from it, and I'm going to take this from you as well, because it doesn't look like you can really do much with it. And I feel like that's how the body is as well. Like, we can invest it in a future. And part of that investment that's astronomical is investing in the relationship of our Trinity, the relationship between our body, mind, and heart, the relationship between self, others, and the planet, restoring that connection. If all we focused on was restoring the connection to the earth and each other and our own trinity, we would be gold. We are gold. That refines us. So that's the other part of this is gold is refined in fire. And when a gold is in fire, the only thing that's burned away is the impurities or what is not the gold. And what remains is the gold. And gold is a massive conductor of energy. We are the gold. We are the pentacle. We need to allow the fire. And yes, there is fire. There's such powerful dragon energy on the planet right now. There is fire, and people, we are blowing fire. Spirit is blowing fire. It's an alchemical fire across all the ley lines because we're clearing out the demonic energies. Demonic meaning not connected to source. It's like autopilot. It's trauma. It's autopilot from trauma. So that is getting burned away. And I've been getting this image for a while now of just being in a flame. And I see it, I hear it in my mind called the Christ flame. Christ means anointing, being set apart. When you are alchemicalized in this fire, your whole self, your pentacle is being set apart for a purpose, set apart for an investment into the future instead of just squandered away and slowly dies because we have no idea how to value ourselves or how to care about ourselves or that we are a trinity. So if we don't include our whole self in the equation, we die. The body can't sustain it because the body's technology is literally based on the relationship of the trinity. We are relational to our core, and it is why we are here. So when we allow ourselves to be refined by the fire and this image of us being in the flame, I literally feel it. How the Christ flame looks to me is almost like golden, but it's like a golden liquid energy that I see that, but it's also fire. It's a plasma and has like within the gold a whole rainbow of color. The entire rainbow is within that flame. That's always how it comes through to me. And one of the techniques you can use this and see if it works for you. And obviously let it come to you as it's meant to come to you too. But I use this flame a lot. Imagine myself just engulfed in this flame coming from the center of my heart, the Christ within me, doing that kind of idea of the meditation we did before, but allowing my whole auric field to be engulfed in the Christ flame and allowing it to burn away any attachments, particularly because we have many psychic attachments to lack based on survival. And all this is habits that we have to create anomaly within. We have to change the habits. And this is where a lot of people get stuck because if you're anything like me, I got majorly stuck here because I was attaching my worth to it. And I believed that if I couldn't overcome these habits, then I was innately unworthy of being happy or receiving abundance or being loved. And so I held myself apart from abundance, from all the things I needed because I felt like I had to be worthy first. So have had to really accept everything as it is, including everything that I don't like about myself or everything that I feel like is not enough, and allow that Christ flame to meet me there. Exactly where I am, that is the most powerful place it can meet us. We're not meant to try to get better and then do it. It's the flame, the alchemy that actually makes it like transmutes the energy so that we can become something new. This is where the gold is. I'm telling you, this is where the money, not just abundance energetically, the literal money is. And keep in mind, more currency is coming online. I could be wrong about this, but I have consistently felt spirit say to me, currency is going to expand. And there's going to be so many different, even though there's a global agenda to push towards a one world currency, and there are people who believe in that and want it, that actually in reality, how nature works is there's an infinite amount of currents, and everybody needs a different kind of currency based on where they're at. So the more we cultivate and invest in the currency that we need, and that we want to amplify in our lives, the more currency, money follows that. But money, right now I'm saying the word money, but what I don't mean paper. That's not what I mean. I mean the energy behind it. So what I'm saying is It might change from paper to digital to trade to whatever. There's going to be an infinite amount of different ways because necessity is the mother of invention. And when anyone tries to control the currency, people find a way to generate their own currency. It's always happened. It always will happen. We are the currency anyway. The currency flows through us, and it's important to see it as currency. It's connected to water, which, as you know, and as if for those of you who are doing the Ace of Pentacles series with me, when we did the spell of containment, we contained our energy within water because water really will change and morph based on the energy that's projected into it. And that's a whole nother thing. I know most of you probably are aware of the studies done around water and how essential it is here, and also that we're made up of water. So currency will shift us. Currency will shift what we're matched to, and it'll bring things. I mean, I see it so clearly. It is already bringing in so much. And I see this, the image I'm getting is all this energy, this currency rushing in towards us timeline wise. And a lot of empaths blocking it, like almost like in fight or flight or the freeze mode is what I'm seeing. Because on a like a circulatory level, on a deep circulatory level, we feel the death of the lack matrix. We feel it. And so our survival mechanisms going off and all of our tendencies in lack and how we survive in lack and what we do in lack and like how the brain works in lack is going off. But I feel this pause amongst the empaths of the world because I also know that spirit has been showing you your path for a long time. And even if it hasn't made sense in the 3D world, or maybe you've already been doing it in the 3D world, this is a lot of what my clients have been in, maybe even been incredibly successful in whatever like venue or outlet that spirit has given them to express their craft, but it's changing because there is a deep, deep sense of sovereignty and liberation that is being urged for. And it's the artists who are going to bring it forth. The artists, the empaths, the philanthropists, the entrepreneurs are going to change the world because they have the means to. And when the currency matches up with the inspiration and the primal instincts of there's enough, there's a primal set we have that protects us so cellularly because there is enough. And the way that in nature the mother energy will protect its offspring, I truly feel that spirit has that same protection of our gold, which is our heart. The heart is the gold. So there is so much right here available to us. And I just keep hearing like people just they don't even know what's available to them. And they don't even know that it's bigger than they could like we're so used to going, well, at least this, at least this. Well, if these things could, and it's great like to have smaller goals and not make ourselves feel like something so out of like so out there that it doesn't feel attainable. So I don't mean putting some pressure on yourself, like I have to earn an astronomical amount of money. Not at all. There is no earn. You didn't earn it. You didn't earn the money. Nobody actually earned the money that they have. It's not about earning. It's about beingness and what we allow energetically to come through us. So I feel like one of the things that spirit really wants us to release is this psychic attachment to the game. And what I'm hearing is literally our psychic, intuitive, instinctual gifts need to be extracted. I've said this a lot, but it's like I'm seeing these psychic tentacles that they literally are tied around and looped around so much bullshit in the lack matrix, but we were awake to it because that's how we had to survive. So, for example, for me, one of the ways that I survived as a child was being able to anticipate what would happen next because there was so much change and there were so many kids and it was so chaotic and I was the youngest, so I felt a lot and I just even like who was watching me changed all the time. I was like raised by all my siblings pretty much. So anyway, I learned at a very, very young age how to please whoever was there because everybody has a different thing they want you to do to please to be good or to be pleasing. I also learned how to predict because my family has explosive anger issues, all of us, including me. Um, how to predict when that was about to happen. I got really good at soothing people before that blow. And I also got good at hiding and like basically taking off if it was about to get to that place and I didn't know how. I knew I couldn't fix it. So I am still really good at seeing something so far off that I can back up, I can get out of it so before it even happens, way before it even happens. I've gotten so good at that. And I know many people who were raised in similar situations or had unpredictable situations have gotten really good at reading energy because you had to. Now, those same exact gifts can be used to anticipate and call in stability, support, love, abundance. And we all need different things. Some people, because of their childhoods and because of their traumatic experiences, need more people, need closeness, need people around them all the time. That's a genuine need. And the wounding is feeling like they can't. Other people like me always had people around, and genuinely my central nervous system, in order to heal, I have to have alone time. I have to have space. I have to have a lot of time for me because I felt like my entire life I didn't even get to take up hardly any space in terms of my inner being, knowing who I was, what I felt, what I thought, all of it, because I was so good at reading everybody else. And I also realized as I went through my healing journey that I didn't even have an identity outside of my siblings. I just memorized who all they were, and I learned how to be whoever I needed to be in any situation. And it took me a while to differentiate and find out who I was outside of that. Now, the reason I'm bringing this all up is because it's connected to enmeshment, and enmeshment is what we have psychically going on with lack. We've been enmeshed with it. So it can be very difficult to even see what's going on psychically for us. And this is where I feel like empath entrepreneurs, again, which includes anyone who uses their craft to bring in abundance. First of all, that's shifting majorly, as I said. I just feel it. I'm thinking particularly two clients that I have are both actors and live in LA and have had a lot of experience in that world. And the when I work with them, the sense that I get, I mean, we all know things are changing in Hollywood so much, and also how influential Hollywood can be to the human psyche. But there's so much awakening happening there. There's so much happening. And I'm feeling like, and I'm bringing up Hollywood for a very important reason, because it feels like it's not just Hollywood. It's beyond Hollywood. Like Hollywood is, I think, part of what's falling, but it's the creativity. It's like there's this creative spark that has been entrapped in a system that was based in lack, and it's getting liberated. And there's all these creators who are now feeling like, and I mean writers, producers, actors, even just business people, that there's always people who are the more business side that have to work around creative projects. But what I'm hearing and seeing, and I've been seeing it for over a year, over 2 years now, is like this massive anomaly happening in the creativity field of humanity. And as individuals wake up, especially individuals with powerful resonances, they're changing even how they make decisions, creative decisions. They're gaining sovereignty, they're including themselves in the equation, and most importantly, they're seeing the bigger picture of what we are creating, and that the people who tell the stories paint the future for humanity. And we have historically been trapped in a dystopic creative line. Like I get why people call it the death cult. And it's like, I sometimes I don't even watch movies anymore. I used to be like a huge movie buff, but I got so tired of the dystopic realities. It's like, how many times can you tell the same fucking story? How many creative ways can you show how humans fuck themselves over? Like, and do you not realize that you're programming humans? Like you're putting a whole vision into the world. And yet the potential of humanity and all the greatest stories that have ever been told have shown that humans can overcome almost anything. And that truth is stranger than fiction. So, like, why? And that humans aren't predictable, by the way. There is an anomaly timeline that's connected to the arc of our story. And so many creators are feeling the call to this. And what I feel, and this is what I felt so strongly to bring through for today, is that a lot of empaths who are part of this movement that I'm feeling. I feel all these creative projects and people merging together. But along the way, people aren't realizing that spirit's pulling them to these particular projects because they would have never considered in the past working with the people they're going to be working with because of prejudice, because of just stupid shit that the lack matrix programs us with. So sometimes we just stay out of some of our deepest callings because we just are in habitual mode with our creativity, especially if we've gotten good at making money from our craft, but within a certain matrix. So we feel like if we break out of that, it changes our stability. So I'm feeling again all these people waking up. I feel these projects pulling people together, and some of them have already come out and are already happening right now. And there's many, many more. And this is all connected to the Renaissance, the birthing of this second. Well, it's not just the second, but another wave of a Renaissance energy, a new birth. Especially in creativity and art and love, the things that make humans come alive, the whole reason we're here, which is why we need people who are willing to tell a different story of humanity, who are willing to psychically tap into the arc of humanity's story, to be able to creatively see beyond this dystopic Armageddon reality. Like, I honestly feel like, come on, creative writers and people, like, tap into what is possible and into the potential because it's part of inspiring humans to that potential. And yes, there will be Armageddon, there will be the fall. Like I said, the system is falling. It's already an unstable tower. It is falling. Let the dead bury the dead. Do not look back. Do not look back, or you will turn to salt. Don't look back. Look forward, where spirit is calling us as a species. Where are we being called? Again, humanity, the spirit of humanity. It's why all the greatest stories about humans I mean, how can your heart just not awaken with the potential of humans, what we are? And because we are relational, what has caused us to feel like humans are so bad and wrong is because our intimacy has been eroded by the lack matrix. We've been eroded from our true intimacy, first and foremost with our own trinity, with our body, mind, heart, with self, others, and the planet, and therefore with our past and our future, because we just keep playing out lack. So we don't step into a new future because we never get the pearl of great price, which is the wisdom we've gained from experience, from looking back and saying, hey, these are the patterns not only have humanity has been in, but these are the patterns I've been in. This is what I've historically done. This is where I can choose anomaly in my life and get out of this perpetual cycle of lack and sacrifice. I am no longer willing to invest my creative energy in the dystopic Armageddon bullshit war lack matrix that is falling right now. Let it fall. Let it do what it's due. Let everybody who wants to participate in that participate in it, and let the dead bury the dead. It's dying. What are we building? What are we moving towards? This is the most important question to ask yourself. And wherever you are with your craft, particularly, however you, and I want to go back to something I was saying at the beginning, is that as people are waking up to their gifts, there's strange gifts that maybe the world doesn't even see yet. There are people who need it and see it and will value you for it. And you are meant, I keep hearing the Akashic record that there are people, and I know people already do this, but I feel like there's a new wave of Akashic record keepers, people who have something within their soul that they came with to birth that is connected to an important, an important aspect of our human tech. It's something about who we are. And I believe that there are people who just have that blueprint in them. And so it can be so confusing and hard to live in this world and figure out what is my purpose or how am I supposed to, when all these esoteric weird things are happening and you just don't know the place for it. Like, where do I put this? Who even cares? That's why I started even doing YouTube in the first place. And I realized, holy shit, there are way more people like me in the world than I thought. There are people who want to work with me, who literally want to pay me for me to use my gifts with them. And that is true for so many. I mean, I think not just so many, everyone who is here to that has a calling. And again, exchange may be different, currency may like we may exchange different types of currency, but it will bring abundance. It'll bring stability. It'll strengthen our signal of there's enough. It'll liberate us further from the lack matrix and begin to dissolve all those shadow contracts that we have with lack. And there is a place of total sovereignty. And people, there's been human beings on this planet that have already done it. We're not the first ones. We just have not lost, but forgotten the record of it. So remember, think about how world records are set all the time. There'll be years and years and years and years, decades, millennia probably, I don't know, where people can't do certain things. And then one person breaks that record, and then a bunch of people start doing it after that, because all it takes is for us to believe it's possible. And that's why humans are so incredible. As soon as we believe something's possible, we open up a brand new timeline. And that's why I think it's essential for the mystics to fully step into their calling, fully, completely step into your calling and let go of the how, let go of the money part, even though I believe that there's so much abundance that wants to come. I see for a lot of people, specifically mystics, there's abundance coming that has nothing to do with what you do. Like, in other words, do not create your business around, I have to make money, but create your business around, how is spirit wanting to come through me? That is the most important thing that matters. And that will strengthen the currency of enough within you, that then money and resources come in all these different ways that you didn't expect, in forms of inheritance, of random people, just like philanthropists being like, I want to invest in you and this idea. Um, just unexpected things, different currencies, different exchanges. Like, there's so many different ways that we can stabilize the resonance of abundance within our electromagnetic field that don't require immediate access to money. And yet it's the pathway for quicker access to actual literal currency. So I want to end this by saying I've been behind the scenes working quite a bit, and those of you who followed me know that, for those of you who know some of my background, that I have been literally being dissolved and rebuilt the last few years, and especially how I show up online, what my calling is, what I wanted to do, what I want to do, what spirit wants to do through me. And it's taken me quite a while, because I didn't realize how much of my worth was tied into what I was doing. At first, it wasn't at all, because I didn't even want anybody to know. And then I sort of peaked, and and this is what's so brilliant about spirit and how spirit moves through us, things that I thought I had overcome when it comes to my worth hadn't been overcome. And so it was an opportunity for me. It's one of the reasons I sort of put myself in the background a little bit, still have been doing what I do, but taking a massive risk, like the amount of literally saying no to money for a while, hardly any money at all. Thankfully, I have a partner that supports me, but I mean, I have literally had to let go of any sort of attachment I had to bringing money in, and the way specifically with my gifts that I was bringing it in. Even though I still make money, my membership, of course I make money, but significantly, like below poverty line level. And I'm telling you that because it's a choice that I made. And obviously I'm not below poverty because I have a partner that supports me, but I'm talking about my own personal money that I had coming in. I put a massive pause, and even like, a massive pause, because I felt like I can't even move forward on any sort of big way until I work this out within me. It was literally something within my solar plexus. And so behind the scenes, as this has been going on, I've been pouring my work and pouring myself into content, working through what I've created in the past. How do I, just doing a lot, but also the series that I've been doing on my YouTube channel, specifically the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles series that I'm doing, has brought through this whole mini course that I created called Abundance by Craft. And this was literally me creating it for my past self. Everything I have learned in the last 10 years that I wish I could have told myself then. And also for me now, because it's about creating anomaly in our psychic patterns and in our creative flow, so that we get out of the shadow contracts that we have with lack. Now, just a refresher, shadow contracts are the way that our creative energy is used, usually unconsciously, through trying to get a need met that we're not conscious of, It's used to fuel the lack matrix, our creative energy, which is our sexual life force, deeply connected to the body, deeply connected to pleasure. And because we've left ourselves out of the equation historically, we have to shift that around and put pleasure as our number one priority. Pleasure in the central nervous system. I'm not talking about debauchery type of pleasure. I'm talking about pleasure that includes the entire trinity, your body, mind, and heart, because there's temporary pleasures we can go for that are actually not pleasurable at all for our soul or our mind or our bodies. So I'm talking about including ourselves in the equation and the pleasure that comes from a relationship with our trinity. So this is what the Abundance by Craft workshop is. And it's actually been pretty much ready to go for a while. There's just been things that I've been tweaking on it. And I have decided to actually run it first live in my YouTube membership because it is literally the direct response of the work I've been doing in the Ace of Pentacles. It's like the work I've been doing. Now, I'm only when I release this course just to the rest of the public, I'm only charging $8 for it. So it's intentionally meant to be something anybody can access, but that will truly give you the strategies, the psychic strategies, the strategies to use your gifts, to leverage your gifts, and to be strategic about it, to create anomaly in your psychic grid, to so that abundance, so that the tables shift drastically. And I don't mean drastically as in something horrific happening like the tower falling, although for some people that does have to happen. Sometimes we have to just, things that we are not good for us have to leave our lives. But this is more of a strategic anomaly for the central nervous system to stabilize the resonance of wealth and prosperity in our electromagnetic field, and specifically liberation, and using our own individual craft for it. So all of you who are in the YouTube membership, I'm going to be running through, in addition to the Ace of Pentacles, but we're going to actually pause the Ace of Pentacles, and I'm doing this. It's a 3-day workshop. So I'll be posting starting next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll be live all 3 of those days with the Abundance by Craft, basically the content for it. And I've also created a workbook for it to help you go through. So anyone who's already in the membership, you get access to it. Plus you still have access to all my archived content for every level, and the Ace of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles. So if you're interested, you can still sign up. You don't have to go through any of this in any particular order. But if you do not want to join the membership, this course will be available as well. Hopefully, I wanted to do a live run of it, which is why I decided to do it in my membership first, but hopefully by the beginning of October, hopefully even sooner than that. But I don't want to give any dates because I'm just letting spirit do its own timing on this. And it feels so fucking strategic. Like I can't even get, I've never been more excited. I've said this before, but genuinely, I've never been more excited about a course. It's just a different flow than I've ever done. And it is so strategic. So within this course, by the way, we are creating a 30-day abundance prosperity ritual uniquely designed for us. Like, so it'll be uniquely designed for you. And it's the idea is to, within these 30 days that you commit to this rhythm with abundance, to create massive anomaly in your reality. And I give you the tools on how to strategically create that 30-day prosperity ritual. So again, the benefit of doing it now with my membership is you get me live. The rest of it, when I release it, it'll be up on Thinkific, so it won't be live anymore. It won't be like live fresh with me, but you'll still have all the content. So anyway, I just think this is like, I feel like anomaly, 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 anomaly. Like that's just what, if you could take anything away from this, is to create anomaly in your psychic rhythms. And that is expressed through the physicality. And this is what we're going to be diving into so that we can really truly get out of the rhythm. So much of the hypnotism in lack is because we've been in a rhythm that we're comfortable with, even though we may hate it, even though the body might not like it, especially the mind doesn't like it. That's where people are the most stressed and taxed, is mentally, especially because of all the information we get on a daily basis through social media. And especially this global idea that it's all up to us to save the world or these bad guys are going to get us. No, don't fall for it. Humanity we have our back. Most of us, the majority of humans on the planet want liberation, want everyone to have what they need, want people to be safe, want to themselves be safe. They all have different ideas about how to get there, and it's based on their personal experience, their trauma, their programming, so many things. But it's important that we don't take that personal and don't make it about humans, because it is actually about a program like a virus, a mind virus that has been infected on the ley lines of this planet. It's literally like a hive mind energy that comes in and plugs itself into the planet, takes over the psychic grid, and takes over the species on that planet via programming, via um, hypnosis. So we have to get out of the hypnosis. And side note, I'm hearing really strongly um, like sound bowls, bells, gongs, wind chimes, sound that creates tone is a really powerful way to start to break up that psychic energy in your field. And I'm hearing so clearly, break it up. And I asked Spirit specifically to tune me into the people who are live and the people who will be watching this within the next 3 days. And overwhelmingly, the energy I've had on this call is I'm feeling this like, again, this almost like hardened psychic shell around this group of people that's being cracked. Like we're cracking out of this shell that we've been in, that we've been incubating in, so to speak. But much of that shell is like psychic protection. And we're cracking out of it so that we can stabilize a sovereign resonance. And that influences people, and it causes exponential growth. We are going to hit, it's going to exponentiate. It's about to. And think of the grain of rice, that every day, 1 grain of rice, 1 grain of rice, 1 grain of rice. It doesn't seem like much, but eventually it's an astronomical amount of rice. That's what's happening on the planet right now. So, all right, guys, I'm just going to kind of look through some of your messages before I go off. Thankfully, YouTube saves these. So, I've been working with a liquid flame too. Oh, I love that. I see cobalt blue light from Arc. Oh, from Art Michael, that Arc Michael that spins around my sphere and spins off anything that's malicious. I love that. I love the gold idea. Gonna play with it. I see this to me is visualization. I'm glad I read that particular comment, because that's another like tangible thing to take away here is visualization is so powerful. Do not underestimate the gold that's free right to you right now to get you out of these rhythms of lack, because visualization is a powerful way. I love how she talks about spinning the sphere and it spins off anything malicious. That is actually how the technology of the toroidal field works. And the more the energy flows naturally and isn't blocked by these psychic boulders of lack, these collective beliefs of lack, where we hold ourselves back, the more the energy flows, the faster our resonance becomes. And the quicker we move, the faster things happen, the quicker we line up to the timeline we want, but we're actually staying still. The electromagnetic field is moving, but we are staying still. So this is why really tapping into visualization, subliminals, meditation, all these things. And by the way, in my Abundance by Craft online course, the series that we'll be doing in the membership and later that will be released, we go into these tools. I give you lots of tools to create anomaly, and I help you sort of structure the ones, it can be more than one, that works best for you. And I also have made the ritual very, very simple, something very, very simple and tangible. So if any of you have taken my Queen of Wands course, the beta test of that, it's similar to what we worked with in that, but much more just digestible and easy. And I made it so that anyone can do it and anyone can enact it. And it's easy to stick to, but yet has profound results. And I cannot wait, because I've been working on my own, and I cannot wait to see what other people do with this particular way that Spirit brought it through to me, because it has been so effective. And my life is changing so drastically, I almost can't even keep up with it. So more to share on that, you will see as I continue. But I'm so excited that I was able to be live. Happy full moon, everybody. I can't wait to see what happens. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to feel like you can go forth and prosper. I know that sounds so silly, but I really want you to feel optimistic, because there is so much to live for right now. And your gifts are a direct reason that I even want to be here. So thank you for coming onto the planet at the same time as us. I really appreciate all of you. And I will see you on the next full moon. I'm live every full moon on my public channel. So I will see you on the next full moon. Bye, guys.